What's good with it?
Well, good, man. I want to thank you for joining Midnight Freestyles podcast, bro. Thank you so much. One of the things
Yeah,
that me and a lot of these artists were speaking about were the new industry versus basically the old industry. A lot of these new artists, they think it's basically you write lyrics, you get in the studio, and you'll get $1 million. And one of the things
right.
one of the things I want to emphasize, well, I would love for you to emphasize is, first of all, give them a backstory of who you are, let them know your credentials, because I guarantee they're going to be surprised. And not only that, let them know what to expect in this new industry since you're so deep in it.
Okay. I'm Fee. You can follow me on Instagram at ITSPHE, short for phenomenal. I produce and engineer, and newest thing I started doing is building studios for people. But I started doing music. I want to say I grew up playing drums in the church and doing sound since I was like 9, and then I started making beats and rapping with the homies like when I was in high school. I want to say like sophomore year in high school. So, and I was just doing stuff at the house, nothing really major. Started out on Fruity Loops, like the very first version, and then switched over to Reason, and that's what I use now, Reason and Pro Tools
Good.
for engineering. So, and I got my own studio that I built from the ground up, invested money in from
How
different
much?
sessions.
How much would you say overall? Because I don't think they understand. Like, it costs money to make money in this industry, hands down.
Right. So, like right now, I would say I've invested at least over 50K into my studio
Y'all hear that?
over the years.
Do y'all hear that?
So yeah, 50K.
So those
And it's not
25.
all in one wop. It's over time. Like I would say this year, like just over the summer, I know I put at least another 10 bands into it.
And I've been seeing it on Instagram also. And I mean, literally, y'all, go follow him. Go follow his page. You will see him
Right.
building from scratch, bro.
Yeah, I do all the acoustic treatment. I build all my sound panels, diffusers, everything.
And that's the quality for your sound, correct?
Right. So, because the way, basically, audio wave, everybody just sees the little squiggly lines on the computer screen.
Right.
But the way audio works is it's the force of the air coming out of either the instrument or your mouth, and then it goes into an amplifier or your cables as electricity.
Boom.
And so we're really dealing with electricity.
Bro.
That's why we have frequencies and all of that. So,
hey, Fee, I got a
it's
question.
dealing with electric.
I got a question for you, bro. Could you please explain to them why is it important for them to understand that knowledge, basic of knowledge of music, of musician, of being a musician? Because it comes down to like how you could describe what is a sound. Well, it's frequency. It's frequency of vibrations that create. You get what I'm saying? It goes into depth.
Right.
So if we're
So,
able to
like,
understand that, but the new artist who comes on the scene don't have a clue. Can you please explain or emphasize to them why it's so important for them to understand what's just, I mean, above? I mean,
got you. So,
yeah.
so like, so you have the 12 notes, on the keyboard
Mm-hmm.
or on the piano, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then you got the flats and sharps,
Mm-hmm.
and those all hit at different frequencies.
Right.
And every time on the piano, it's only 12 notes.
Mm-hmm.
But then every time you go up an octave, it's those same notes just higher in pitch.
Right.
So when you have like a 61 keyboard, it's 61 keys, but it's the 12 keys times all the way up to 61, basically.
Mm-hmm. Like all cows eat grass, and yeah, we had to come up with those acronyms. But I'm saying for the new artists who are listening right now or watching right now, why is it important for them to know what you're preaching right now? Why is it important for them to go and understand what a sharp is? You know what I'm saying? Or what a flat?
So, because when you make the beat, for one, you want all your instruments to be in tune. Like I've worked with younger producers, and they'll have a dope beat, but they're like, I don't like my drums. It sounds weird. And then you go and look on the what's called the piano roll if they're doing it digitally on a computer, and it'll show you what note that drum is hitting in. Well, you need your drums to be in tune with all your other instruments. Just like live bands, like they just don't throw a drum set up there and play, or get in the studio with a live drummer and play. They tune their drums to the song.
And see, and that's
so when all your instruments are in tune, that makes it easier for the mixing process, because those notes, they all ride in certain frequencies. So if everything's in key and in pitch, then it makes your EQ easier, and you're like, okay, I can take out this frequency because this instrument's not using it at this part, which gives you space in the overall mix.
Boom. Y'all hear that? And also, can you please give them background on what it is that you, on the type of projects that you've currently been on, the ones you have credit for in films, and the actual I know you got Dr. Dre and all those in your pocket. Can you please emphasize, and guys, please remember, this guy is young. He is not old at all. Please understand that. So
I'll be having to explain the whole little Dr. Dre situation. Like, I haven't met the dude personally. I doing professional music. I started out going to one of his sons.
All right, explain to our listeners what is professional music, because I don't want them to think that them just performing is professional music. You have to carry yourself a professional way, in a professional manner, and not only that, you have to have your paperwork in order. And so you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, because this is basically, this podcast is for the beginners, the ones who are thinking about joining the new industry, but they're just not sure. So I just want to give them some insights from individuals who are currently in the industry and actually living in LA, dealing with the Hollywood industry folks who actually have credit on films. Can you please emphasize on how it is dealing with that? Just dealing with that in Hollywood itself.
All right, so I lived out there. I just moved back to, I'm originally from Moreno Valley, the Inland Empire.
Okay.
But I moved out to Hollywood in, I want to say 2012, and I was out there for 6 or 7 years.
Okay.
And I lived in the heart of everything. I was on Sunset and Gower was where my apartment was.
Right.
And so I went to the LA Film and Recording School. And originally I just went because I knew they had the audio engineer program, and I was like, there's more to the studio stuff than just making beats and people rapping over it. Boom. Like, a lot of people don't know, the engineers and the solid producers are the ones that make these songs sound amazing.
Hold on, say that again. Please say that again, because I know some people believe that engineers and producers are the same thing. Oh my goodness, I hate that. That's one of the things I hate.
Right. So there's even with the producer beat maker thing, there's beat makers. There's a gang of beat makers that are dope, but all they do is make beats 24/7. They don't know how to produce. Producers, there's also producers who make the beats and then coach the artist or the rapper on the delivery, the vocals, the harmonies, and all that. That's part of the producer. And then there's also producers who, they don't make the music, but they'll coach the artist on producing the record, on how to make it sound like a full, complete work.
Boom.
And how to make it sound solid.
Thank you.
So it's different levels and stuff. There's some people blur the lines, but yeah, there's different. And then the engineer, people think the engineer is just some dude that likes to sit on the computer all day, which, I mean, engineers spend hours and hours mixing songs.
Right.
They spend hours. And then, but they're the ones, they got to know what compressor to use for what instrument or what vocal, is everything, every song is different.
Right.
You can use a template where you got your favorite EQs and presets you like, but every artist, you got to look at the artist's voice as another instrument.
Right.
So, and you got to mix their vocals to not only fit in the mix good, but stand out. And the other thing is, you don't want your mix to sound like everybody else's mix. You want it to be professional and ready, but you want it to have your personal identity.
And I'm glad you said that too. I'm honestly glad that you said that, because I would like to know your opinion on the instrumentals that we have today. I guess it's the mumble music, trap music. But how do you feel about that being the new genre of music? compared to when lyricists such as Rakim and Jada Kiss and all of them was, you know what I'm saying, killing the waves. How do you feel about the new music that exists today compared to back then?
To me, it's like a gift and a curse because now, like back in the day, dudes used to either have to know somebody that knew somebody that had access to a studio because everything was analog and the equipment was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right.
Like we still got equipment like that and some of that same old equipment, but most of the stuff people are doing now is in the box using VSTs, plugins.
Yep.
And with the computer and digital stuff, you could have what I call the cheat codes. Like they got plugins where you don't have to know anything about music theory, but you could put a plugin on and it'll, whatever you play, it makes sure that you stay in whatever key you set the song for.
That's sad. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Like versus everything that we had to learn from scratch with analog versus this digital thing. And the knowledge you can't compare, of course. But when it comes down to, I guess, time consuming and time consumption, how do you feel about that?
All right, so like it goes back to okay, so like I was saying, I've been to like a couple sessions. I was in some beat battles at the recording school, right?
Right.
Because not only there's ways to get your beats out there. You could flood people's DMs, reach out to people on Facebook, social media. Right. Like that's cool. But then for producers, there's actual beat battle leagues where you sign up. Some of them are free. Some of them you got to pay to, you know, do your beat, to play your beat. And the beat battles, like you'll go, and if you're in the right league, they'll have like major producers as the judges. So I was at one beat battle, and Focus from Aftermath was there. Cardiac Flatline, he's dope. Siege Monstrosity, and Rachel Lucille, she's one of the songwriters for Timberland. Okay. So, and Cardiac, Focus, and Siege, they all produce records for Aftermath artists, and they do, you know, other people's stuff. Okay. Like I know Cardiac did, I think, Diced Pineapples for Rick Ross and Drake, and Wale. Like they got placements. They got placements. But I played some beats, and I was like, you know, I need to get out there, so I was like, I'm gonna just start hopping in beat battles. Right. Well, after that beat battle, I think I got second place or third place, and Focus came up to me afterwards. Well, I was at the Walgreens by the school, and Focus was in there. And I was like, let's go, Focus, woo-coo, bam. And he was like, you're dope, take down my number. So I took down his number, and we would chop it up on Instagram and stuff. And then one day he just texted me and was like, hey, meet me up at the studio. Right. I'm going to send you the address. So he sends me the address, and it ends up being like Dre's studio, Dr. Dre's studio. Oh. And Dr. Dre wasn't there, but I was there with Focus, and I think Trevor Lawrence Jr., their drummer, which they're all super cool people. And so we're in there chilling, they're talking music, and I know Focus was just bought the new Omnisphere 2 at the time. Omnisphere 2 it just came out, so he was just going through sounds. Right. And then we go outside, and Marsha Ambrosia pulled up from Flowetry. Okay. And so they had a session, and they were going over concepts and writing and laying down scratch tracks and stuff. And like people, some of the homies, they were like, so did you play any of your beats? And I was like, nah, because when you get in those situations, you don't want to seem thirsty. Mm-hmm. And if they're already working on something, you don't want to get them off of what they're there for. Right. Like you should just be grateful that you in that building type, or, you know? Right. So I was just sitting there watching and learning. But what I did learn was that if you listen to any record that comes from the Aftermath camp, mm-hmm. they're heavy on perfection. Like they're very meticulous about their mixes, the performance from the artist, the performance from the musicians. And then they also do a lot of their mixing still analog style on the FSL analog console.
Okay, the old school. Okay.
Right.
So like how like versus the new school, what do you dislike about the new school music right now?
It's more about content over quality.
Okay. Got you.
Like everybody's just putting out music every single day because you can do it on a laptop.
Got you. They're not even putting.
But when you're
go ahead.
But when you're doing a song and you're taking weeks or months to get it right, those records normally come out way stronger.
Yeah, I don't think the new school understands that, and that's why I'm actually talking to professionals that are currently in the industry, and for you, not you, but for these guys to actually understand what's going on, they have to realize where it's been. And I don't think they actually understand the amount of time and determination, sacrifices. The most important one of all is that sacrifice. You're going to sacrifice a lot if you really want to, you know what I'm saying, have a great success in this industry. But do you have any projects coming out lately or anything coming out soon?
Yeah, so right now I'm working on an instrumental project, and it has like hip hop vibes to it, but it's more geared towards like, I would say light jazz. It has like a light jazz feel with live instruments. I got a live saxophone player on it.
Okay.
Shout out to Lito. His name's Lito, and he plays in some of Kanye's Sunday services.
Okay.
And we connected off of Instagram, and like he just did the. He already sent me the files for one of the songs that I'm working on and still arranging, but he's working on 2 more, and he's not even charging me up front. Like we're doing back end royalties.
Well, I don't think they should know that.
And stuff like that.
We're gonna keep that on low right there. We're gonna edit that right there. But nah, I want to thank you so much, Fee, for coming on the podcast, bro. It's truly a blessing to have someone as great success as you, bro. And you being so young at the same time and having done so much and so little, you know what I'm saying, so little time, that it's just amazing. And I just want to say, continue, keep your head up, and you always have somebody in your corner over here at Midnight Freestyle. So
I appreciate it. Let me shout out because I'm working on 2 other projects right now.
Oh, go ahead.
The homie Ace Casino. You can find him on Facebook. He goes by Ace Casino.
Okay.
ACECASINO, and he has like a real West Coast type vibe.
Okay.
And then the other artist I'm working with, her name is Sweet Pea, and we're like, I want to say 3/4 of the way the recording process of her project, and I'm executive producing all of these, so I'm making the beats and mixing them. But she does R&B, and her IG, her Instagram is Sweet P Love, SWEET and then Love, LOVE. And then her Twitter is at @_real_Sweet P.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
So those are like the 2 major projects I'm working on right now on my end.
And I guarantee success. I guarantee success, man. Hey, thank you so much, Pete. Thank you so much, brother. Hey,
no worries.
Blessing. Hey, I'm gonna get back with you. All right.
All right, bro. Stay up.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Yep.
And there you have it, folks. Once again, nothing but the truth, nothing but facts coming straight from individuals that's currently in the industry right now as we speak. As you sit there, watch me tell you about this. Yes, they're in the industry. Yes, some are old, some are young, but guess what? No one has ever stopped because they want to be successful. It doesn't matter what roadblock you run into. It doesn't matter what comes your way. If this is what you want to be considered to be involved in, which is becoming a musician within this new industry. And like I said, yes, I'm explaining to you guys what I mean by this new industry thing versus the old industry. But we'll be right back after these messages.